Hi there, I'm Scott. Today we're talking torque wrenches. I'm going to tell you what they are, how to use them, why you need them, and how you can turn a regular box hand wrench or a ratchet into a torque wrench for under $10. Coming up. So before we start talking about torque wrenches, we need to talk about what torque actually is. So what exactly is torque? The torque is basically the amount of angular force applied to a fastener, basically how tight you're screwing it in. Everybody knows that the tighter you screw a fastener in, the tighter that joint is going to stay and the less chance it's going to loosen off. But why exactly do these things get tight? The secret is steel. Steel stretches. Now if I had a fastener made out of, say, ceramic that doesn't stretch at all, I could screw that in, and as soon as that head touched the surface of where you were screwing it into, you would not be able to turn it any farther. And if you did, it would just crack and break. Steel fasteners, such as this screw right here, this machine screw, when the head contacts the surface of what you're screwing it into, you can continue torquing it, and what you're actually doing is stretching the fastener itself. And it's the elasticity of the steel, that stretch, that's what's holding things tight, and that's why you can get it so tight that it actually holds things in place. And the tightness of that fastener in against the threads and the head against the surface causes friction. And that friction is what keeps the fastener from backing out. So obviously, you want to tighten these fasteners to a specific amount. If you tighten it too far, you'll go beyond the elasticity of the steel and the fastener will break. And if you don't tighten it enough, you haven't got sufficient friction against the threads in the head to hold it in place, and it will vibrate loose and fall out. So how do you know exactly how tight to fasten these fasteners? Well, to be honest, I've been doing this a really long time, and for the majority of fasteners, I use the Armstrong method. I've been doing this for so long that I can just by feel know how tight a fastener should go. For the majority of things, such as this seat bolt, I'm just going to screw it in there, tighten it till it feels right, and it's good to go. That comes from years of experience, both having fasteners too loose, fasteners that were too tight and broke, and eventually just getting a feel for what the correct torque value is for a fastener. Now, when it comes to things that are critical, safety issues, brake calipers, engine parts, frame parts, anything that's going to be a safety issue or come loose or break, I'm going to use a torque wrench, because a torque wrench applies exactly the correct amount of torque. So how do we know just how much torque to apply? Well, helpfully, Honda supplies this for us, and inside the service manual you'll find pages like this that specify the various torque values for all the fasteners on the bike. For instance, the caliper bleed valve says there's 3 of them on the bike and you should tighten them to 4 foot-pounds. Other things like a brake disc bolt, 29 foot-pounds. That's the bolt that holds the brake rotor onto the wheel itself. For some items, such as seat fastener bolts, they don't give you a specific value. Instead, there's a standard torque value given based on the diameter of the bolt. So this seat bolt here, I can measure it at 8 millimeters. So it says for an 8 millimeter bolt, it uses 16 foot-pounds of torque. This is my very first torque wrench. My father gave me this when I was 16 years old, so I could do my own work on motorcycles and cars and bicycles and whatnot. This is what's called a beam type torque wrench. Never fails. As soon as I start making a video, my neighbor starts mowing the lawn. Hopefully that's not too loud. Now on this simple beam type wrench, there's a beam here that transmits the torque into the fastener. And the difference between this beam flex and this indicator rod that does not flex shows as deflection on the scale here. It's important when applying torque for the beam type wrench that the handle here is actually kept centered, so you aren't creating more angular force at the end here like this, bending the torque rod inaccurately. So you want to have that right in the center. So basically you're applying force from this spot right here. Now as I apply force, you're going to see that indicator start to move until I see 16. And right there. Now I know that this fastener is correctly torqued 16 foot-pounds. Now I've got a different type of torque wrench here as well. I've got 3 of them in 3 different sizes. So here I've got my 3/4 inch, and here's a 1/2 inch, and then I've got a 1/4 inch. The 2 larger ones measure in foot-pounds. The smallest one measures in inch-pounds. You can translate from inch-pounds to foot-pounds, obviously just by dividing or multiplying by 12. So 12 inch-pounds is 1 foot-pound. Depending on the sizes of the wrenches, they have different ranges. This one goes from 20 inch-pounds to about 200 inch-pounds. So roughly 1.5 foot-pounds to whatever 200 divided by 12 is. Alexa, 200 divided by 12.
200 divided by 12 is 16.6667.
There you go, up to 16 foot-pounds. Now the largest one, the 3/4 inch, goes from 10 foot-pounds to 180 foot-pounds. Now these are simple, cheap Harbor Freight torque wrenches. You can go and spend hundreds of dollars on Snap-on or other expensive torque wrenches. However, I've had and used these for years. I test their calibration against my beam type wrench regularly, and they are still spot on. I mean, Harbor Freight states their accuracy to within 2 to 3%, and I'm finding that's pretty much the case. So go ahead and spend big dollars on your big name brand torque wrenches if you want, but for me, these Harbor Freight cheapies work just as well. Now these are called Clik type torque wrenches, and the biggest benefit is you don't have to sit there and watch the dial and try to guess when you're actually at the correct amount. Instead, you set the amount you want by loosening the set screw, twisting it until the bottom of the indicator shows correctly on the scale, and then you tighten the set screw. And what happens is when you adjust the torque, as soon as you get to that preset torque, it makes a click. You can feel it and hear it, and that means you know you've got to the correct torque. So let's have a look at adjusting this torque wrench. You'll see there's gradations every 5 foot-pounds. There's 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. And then if you look down here, you'll see there's notches that count from 0 through 5. So if we start moving this up until the ring is at the 5 and we're showing 0, that means this is now set for 5 foot-pounds. If we crank it up another 5, you'll see it's now set for 10 foot-pounds. So now we'll go another 5. Now it's at 15 foot-pounds. Now we wanted 16 foot-pounds, so we're going to move it so that 1 now lines up with that hash. Now once we've got what we want, we tighten the set screw in the bottom. That locks it in place so we don't accidentally change the setting while we're using the wrench. Alright, we've got the torque value set to what we want. We're going to change the ratchet so that we're tightening rather than loosening. We put the torque wrench into the fastener, and as soon as we hear and feel the click, we know we've reached the correct torque value. And that's it. Quick and simple, we've now torqued this fastener to the correct manufacturer specified amount. It's important once you've finished using your torque wrench, don't leave it set to the torque setting because it leaves the inside under tension and will actually pull it out of calibration after a time. So once you're finished, loosen the set screw, loosen it back off to 0, then you can put it away and store it. I know what you're going to say, but Scott, I don't have a torque wrench and I don't want to spend my hard-earned $20 at Harbor Freight on a cheap Chinese tool or an expensive one from Snap-on. Well, I got you covered. All you need is a regular wrench. Now this is a ratchet, but you could use just a regular box end wrench as well. And you will need a measuring tape, luggage scale, and a calculator. Now I'm pretty sure the luggage scale you might have. You can get them for about $10. Measuring tape and calculator I'm sure you have already. What we're going to do is measure the distance between the rotational axis of the wrench, where the fastener actually goes, and where we're going to fasten the luggage scale. Now this wrench has a nice little divot right here at the end of the handle, so I think that'll be good. We can hook on there, that'll work fine. So we'll take our measuring tape, and it is exactly 9.25 inches, 9 1/4. All right, 9 1/4. So what we're going to do is take our calculator and say 12 divided by 9.25, which is our measurement, and we get an answer. And now we multiply that by how many foot-pounds of torque we're going to use, 16. So the answer is 20. So it's actually 20.7. So what I'm going to do is put my wrench in the fastener. I'm going to take my luggage scale, turn it on, wait for it to zero out, hook it on at that place that we measured to before, and simply pull it until it reads 20.7 pounds. And that's it. This fastener is now set to 16 foot-pounds of torque. Now obviously, this is going to be far more accurate and quick and easy to use than this. But in a pinch, this will get you by. 2 final money-saving tips about torque wrenches. First, your bike is covered in aluminum. There's aluminum in the forks, there's aluminum in the engine block, final drive, it's all over. And the reason for that is because aluminum is light, it's a lot lighter than steel. So they use it on motorcycles where weight really matters. Aluminum is a lot softer than steel. So anytime you're torquing a fastener into aluminum and you over torque it, the fastener is not going to snap like it does when you're fastening into steel. Instead, it's going to tear the soft threads out of the aluminum. So if you're torquing away on that bolt and you think you're almost there and all of a sudden you feel it just kind of release, guess what? You just over torqued it and you tore out those threads. Now, typically the things that are aluminum, front forks, engine block, final drive, those are big pieces and they're expensive. You're not fixing that, you're replacing it. So if you want to save a lot of money, anytime you're putting a fastener into anything aluminum, make sure you use a torque wrench. Money-saving tip number 2 has nothing to do with motorcycles at all. It's what I use torque wrenches more than anything else for, and that is on my car, wheel lug nuts. And the reason for that is, every time you go to the garage and you see the guys taking the wheels off and put your wheels back on the car, how do they put those wheels back on? They put the wheel on over the studs, they get the bolts in place, and then they take one of these. And they zip that nut on there nice and quick, and off you go, next customer, thank you very much. The thing is, wheels on cars, and more importantly, the brake rotors on cars, are particularly susceptible to uneven torque. So if you have 5 lug nuts, and 3 of those are really tight and a couple are about to fall off because they're so loose, you've got uneven torque holding that brake rotor in place, and more importantly, uneven amount of cooling whenever that brake rotor heats up because it's fastened with different amount of pressure around the wheel. So as it heats and cools unevenly, the rotor starts to warp. You guessed it, the primary #1 cause of brake rotor warping in cars is unequal torquing of the lug nuts. And that is primarily caused by grease monkeys in the garage with these. My car's owner manual specifies lug nut torque of 100 foot-pounds. On multiple occasions, in fact on every occasion, whenever my car comes back from the shop and I check the lug nut torque values on it, they're anywhere from 30 to 240. They're all over the place. So what I do every single time my car comes back from the shop where they've had the wheels off for one reason or another, I take my torque wrench, I loosen every single lug nut, and then I retighten them to 100 foot-pounds, and make sure you do it in a star pattern as shown in your owner's manual. I guarantee if you do this every time the shop has the wheels off your car, you will not have brake rotor warping problems. Well, there you go, probably more than you ever wanted to know about torque wrenches. If you liked what you saw here today, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and that little bell down below. It really helps us out. And you'll see all the new videos that we put out just like this one. And of course, don't forget to check out the GoldwingDocs forum, the largest Goldwing forum of its type on the internet. We've got so many friendly people there and tons of information and DIYs just like this. See you soon.